G'day guys, it's Mick Lockhart from Parkway Studios. I've had a few people ask me if I could show you some of the guitars that I use here, kind of our workhorse guitars, acoustics, electrics, the different ones we use, and sort of, you know, where I would use them, why I would pick up these guitars over a different guitar, similar sort of guitar, but why I choose these ones. I'm not going to go through and actually set these things up and play these things today. But what I will do is I'll go through about half a dozen guitars I have here in the studio that I use pretty much every time I come in and do a main tracking session, an actual lead session, the lead work I do, or overdubbing. And I'll give you a bit of a rundown on the best I can to my knowledge. I have a lot of guitars, so I have to remember what's used in each, and I've swapped a lot of things around over the time. So stick with me, I'll do my best, and I'll go through kind of probably 5 or 6 guitars that we have here, that anyone that does come to the studio can use any of these guitars as well. So let's go and get the first one and have a look, have a talk about it. Okay, so my first guitar I've picked up is sort of my really main workhorse of the studio. It's a Martin DC-15. It's a full mahogany guitar, top, back, so it's made in the USA. Martin Guitar Company are a fantastic guitar company. They build, this is a cutaway version, they build really solid guitars. They're all handmade, so you know, there's a lot of guys out there that like handmade stuff. Pay a little bit more of a price for them, but you know, for me, guitars, pretty much it is a case of you get what you pay for. I mean, I have a lot of cheap guitars too, don't get me wrong, so you can soup them up, but when it comes to something like an acoustic guitar, for me, my opinion is that the higher you go up, the better quality of a guitar you get. This thing stays in tune amazingly. The intonation on it's really nice, and the neck is just like playing electric guitar, so the transition from acoustic to electric is a relatively easy one. I primarily use Martins and Taylors here in the studio as the guides that I'll pick up first. You know, I have a few other different ones as well, but generally these are my go-to. This guitar, this is my main guitar. Like I say, it's a workhorse, so I'll sit in the booth for an entire day tracking an album. This thing's the first thing I'll play. It's in the bed track all the time. It's deep, it's big, it's full, it's rich, sounds amazing under a mic. It has a Fishman pickup in it, so it does sound really nice live. But you know, obviously in the studio we use the mics that we have here in the booth, and it just records so nice. It's very even, straight across the fretboard. It sounds big. Just sounds lovely, you know. Nice. Okay, so the second one I've got out is a Taylor guitar, another cutaway. It's a 314CE, I think. Yeah, it's a 314CE. It's a Sitka spruce top, this one. The thing I like about Taylor guitars in the studio compared to a Martin, they're a much different sound. A Taylor guitar sound, there's kind of nothing that even comes close to a Taylor. You know them when you hear them. So this thing, I'm running 13s on this, so it's actually strung quite heavily. So I think it's a 13 to a 57, but I've got a big beanie hand, so I can kind of bend the strings around anyway. I don't do too much bending on the acoustic, but this thing is a really good guitar. If I want to run a second acoustic guitar line, I'll pretty much pick this one up, and any finger picking acoustic stuff, I pretty much do this over top of a bed, you know. I have another Taylor which I'm about to show you, which I've strung up totally different again. This thing feels really nice to play. It's again, it's just a good tone. Okay, so this is another Taylor guitar. It's another 314, and basically I've had the luxury that I could put the extender piece up on the nut here to lift this gauge, to lift these strings up, and I'll do a bit of slide work on this stuff, and you know, overdub dobro stuff or whatever. If we just want some different stuff, I run 17s on this guy, So it's tuned to open G at the moment, and we muck around with tunings a fair bit in the studio, as a lot of you guys know. But you know, there's no point of having half a dozen guitars here that are identical, so we may as well get in and change them around and use them for, you know, just for one song or a whole record, pretty much, you know. Any normal stuff you want, you know. Whatever you want to do, really, it's you know, your options are endless when you start mucking around with guitars and tunings and stuff like that. But here's another one that I don't go to it as much, but it is another one that sits up on the wall, and a lot of people pick it up and ask questions about this one. So I thought I'd give you a bit of an explanation why we do something to that, like that, to a pretty nice guitar. But it's still a nice guitar, of course, and at any moment we can pull the extender piece out and drop it down, turn it back into exactly what it was. So yeah, another Taylor guitar. I was lucky enough to get a full signature endorsement with a company in South Australia called Mattschoss Guitars. You can check them out. Ivan Mattschoss builds wonderful guitars. He's built them for a long time. I was playing Tompkins guitars and Fender guitars prior to this. Then this one come along, and we decided, I got the luxury to build kind of what I thought at the time was, you know, my ultimate perfect setup. So it's quite a heavy guitar, this one. It's done 1 million gigs. I've had it for about 10 years now, so it's pretty much played every live gig with me for a long time. So it's pretty beaten, and it's road used, and you know, there's chunks and knocks out of it everywhere, but it just sounds good. We're running a Lindy Fralin Blue Special on the bridge, and we run an Adder custom pickup from a company in America. I can find out a little bit about all the capacitors and all the wiring he's got inside. It wouldn't be too hard for me to find that out. This is a real workhorse for me. It's got a cool paint job. It kind of changes colour when you flip it around. I don't know if you guys can see that. It goes gold to purple and changes colour under the pretty lights, because everyone loves guitars that change colour. And but it's pretty cool. So this is nice. It's set up really fast. Stays in tune. I run heavy strings again, so I think these current ones I'm pretty sure they're 12 to 58s on this. They're nickel strings. I don't run tuning lockers or any lock-in tuners or anything like that. And I change strings a lot. You know, as you know, I change strings a lot. It's got a roller bridge, a Charla roller bridge. So it doesn't feed through the guitar. There's nothing cut out in the back of the guitar, so it all feeds off the top. It's a lovely guitar, this. Check out Mattschoss Guitars. And yeah, so this is kind of my main Telecaster, my main go-to. Does country really well. Metal, just good balls out, you know, overdrive, distorted guitars. Does that really well. This Lindy Fralin Blue Special is a wonderful pickup. It's very high output. So yeah, a Mattschoss. So another one we have here is a 95 Highway 1 USA Stratocaster, Fender Stratocaster. It's got 65 reissue pickups in this. It's pretty much all standard. It's a standard neck, standard USA neck, standard USA bridge. It's a lovely guitar. It sounds really Strat. This is a really Stratocaster of a Strat. And you know, a lot of Strat players would know that they all sound kind of separate, but this is probably the most Strat I've ever heard in a guitar, or one that I've ever had anyway. This one gets a fair kick in the guts a bit here in the studio. Does a lot of solos. You come out of the studio, I'll be played on this guy right here, and yeah, and it's a good all-round guitar. So this one is known to me as a Black Strat, and it's a 62 reissue USA Fender Stratocaster, pretty much standard as they come. So everything you'd expect on a reissue guitar. I run a heavier gauge than I do on the red Strat that we just had a look at. I run 10 to 46 on the red one, running 11 to 52s on this guy. It's pretty heavy for a Strat. A lot of guys don't generally do that, but it works okay. It's a hardtail bridge, so it kind of allows me to do that a little more. The whammy bar gets a bit of a kick in this one, and I find myself doing slide stuff on this. All the slide stuff that I've been doing lately, I've been picking this guitar up to do it, so it handles the slide nice. It's not overly high, so you don't expect it to be set up for a slide guitar. I haven't really done anything differently than that. It just works. Maybe the heavier strings allow me to do it. It doesn't really, you don't get your fret noise by doing it. This thing's pretty much another go-to. So again, I'm just having a look at the workhorses of the studio, and these are all here every day. And but yeah, this is another beautiful Strat. So, and like the other one, it sounds like a Strat when you need it to. So as you would know, a lot of studios have probably a big range of guitars. We have a few different options here. This is a Les Paul Studio. Essentially I walked to this guitar because I love the way it looked. I picked it up and it actually sounded really nice, so I bought it. It's got P90s in it. Everything's pretty much standard out of the box with this one. I set the action up a little. It was a little high when I got it. Now it sort of works really well, stays in tune good. I know a lot of the studios don't, this one does. Also helps tuning the guitar. You got to have guitars that stay in tune. So this, this thing's, they're not overly expensive, these guitars, so you don't have to have big multi-$1,000 price points on guitars. This thing just sounds good, if you want to scream and Les Paul solo, you'll get it out of this thing, and if you want some good rock undertones, you'll get it out of this as well. This is pretty much my go-to Les Paul. We have a few other options with those as well in the studio, but this is pretty much the one I pick up first. I'll give it a shot on this one first before we've got to go searching for other options, Not really too much to talk about. Most people probably understand how these things work and how they're all set up. I will plug these things into the amps, and we'll demo them all up one by one a bit over time, but that would probably be a 3-hour long video. I could sit here and talk guitars with you all day. I could probably spend the next 2 hours showing you different guitars we've got here in the studio. We've got a lot of them. So these are a few different options we have. So Les Paul, I don't know what year it is. I don't even know what year it is. Oh, there we go. Made in USA 2011. So there, it's not really too old. It's 5 years old. So, but yeah, I love that finish. I think that sort of dark chocolate timber finish without a pick guard is awesome. I love that on guitars. I'm not a fan of pick guards. So originally I walked up to this one because it looked good, and it actually sounded good too, which was a good bonus. So thanks for watching that, guys. There's a few of my favourite guitars that I use on a daily basis here at the studio. We have a lot of other guitars, but I could probably chew your ears off for hours. A lot of guitar players that understand that guitar talk sort of never ends. They're my favourite guitars for their own, intricate reasons, and I've played the things a long time, so they're kind of like putting on an old pair of jeans for me. They're just like going home. So that always helps with guitars too. The more hours you knock up on them, the easier they get to play each time, and you know exactly what they do and how they do it. So it makes my decisions in the studio pretty easy. I kind of have an idea of which guitar is going to do what job for me when I need it. I will go through and we'll demo some of these guitars on the way that we do our amp cabinets and our microphones and all that stuff. These guitars will be the guides that I use. So please like and comment on the video if you've liked what you've seen today, or you want to know some more stuff about any particular guitar or any other videos you might want to watch in the future. Subscribe to the channel because there's going to be videos coming out on a regular basis. And failing that, thanks for hanging around and have a look at some of the guitars we use, and keep picking, and we'll see you later.